welcome back to another episode of Buffalo Happy Hour. Mike, what's going on?
Oh, Derek, we're back in our favorite town that we don't live in yet.
I know, right?
I know, it's fine.
Only a matter of time.
Correct. We'll start with introductions and titles if they exist.
Yeah.
And then we'll dive into all things you.
Okay. I'm Taylor. Taylor Balbiers, owner of Tea Boutique. Born and raised in Buffalo and never leaving Buffalo.
Where are we? Because you've moved.
Do you want the full location?
Sure.
Okay. We're at my store, Tea Boutique, and it is 221 Buffalo Street. It's right in the heart, like basically in the heart of the village of Hamburg. So, but yeah, about a year we've been here. We were down the road in a smaller location, and we made the move here about a year ago, and it was a big move.
What was that process like with the village, where you're like, I want to go there?
So this is going to be, I feel like I'm going to talk about this again, but I did a lot of research, like market analysis, all that sort of stuff, where I wanted to be in Buffalo. Because obviously there's so many great towns, so many great villages, so many places you could pick. You could be downtown, you could be in the north towns, you could be in south towns. It's so hard. I'm obviously biased because I was born and raised in Hamburg. So I was like, where else would I want to be? But then you also have like amazing neighboring towns where you have Orchard Park and East Aurora that have great shopping districts. But I am glad I ended up here for multiple reasons. Like I said, selfishly because I was born and raised here, but also it's an amazing community to be a part of. Like all of the businesses here are so like interactive and like do so many things together and work together. And you don't get any sense of like competition, in my opinion. It's a lot of community. And I feel like that can be hard to come by. So I'm very, very happy that I chose Hamburg to start my business.
When did you start?
So we started, well, I say we, but it was me back then. But I started in December 2017, online strictly. And I wanted to open a store, but it's a lot. I was like kind of taking on this whole dream, trying to figure out how, like what route I wanted to do, where I wanted to go. A little backtrack. I was living in Pittsburgh after I graduated college. And I moved back in with my parents and was like, I'm opening my own business. And they were like, okay. As any good parent would be like, what are you doing? So I had to, my dad is a businessman and I had to have a whole business like plan to show him, which was a great thing in hindsight. And I showed him what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it, all of this stuff. And I started online out of my parents' guest bedroom. And I did pop-up shops is how I originated. So I did spot coffee in the village. I did hair salons. I did things like that. And I realized very quickly that especially like female customers, they love to see clothes, try on clothes, feel the product, see how it fits, see what the material feels like. So I had a lot of returning customers to my pop-up. And about 4 months into that, I was like, I need to open a store. Like I need to be a brick and mortar, which is crazy because I feel like a lot of people think online's the way to go. And our brick and mortar is like hands down, like the bigger percentage of our business.
So how did you start online though? Because that has to be tough to do.
Yes. And I thought it was going to be way easier. So I started like on social media, launched a website, tried to figure all of that out, which was very difficult if you don't have any sort of like e-commerce or like digital marketing background. And I just posted as much as I could. I did photo shoots. Like I did as much as I could to try to get like our name out there. But like any industry, it's saturated.
Right.
So that's where I felt like having a brick and mortar and having that face to the name for people to come in and stuff would also help the business.
So for somebody that's never heard of it, what even is Tea Boutique?
Yeah. So we are a women's clothing and accessory boutique. We carry any sort of clothing basically that you can think of for women. So we have blouses, dresses, jackets, jeans, you know, the whole nine. And then a lot of accessories. We have hair accessories, jewelry, handbags, pretty much everything and anything that we can dress you like head to toe. We don't have shoes currently. That has been a big request. But yeah, pretty much anything. And I tell our customers all the time that we always have new products. So if you need a new outfit for yourself or a gift for someone, we almost always have something in store for like everybody. So
back when you started online, what was that process like to get product?
So I had to do a lot of research, and that's what I've had. A few people here and there have come to me and been like, I'm thinking about opening a boutique. Like, where do I begin? Because it is hard, and there's no handbook for it. So I did a lot of research, and there's markets that are across the country. Dallas, Atlanta's where I go. Dallas, Las Vegas, New York City. There's markets of just floors of vendors that you go and you essentially shop, air quotes, because as fun as it seems and as cool as it is, it's a lot of work and it's extremely overwhelming. And that was the first time I went with my mom like 2 months before I opened the store online. And I was like, oh my God, like I have no idea what I'm getting. I have no idea what my customer is going to be like. And now I like to think 5 years into it, I got a pretty good grasp on it.
Sure.
But
What was your inspiration going into this? Was it other, like, I'm trying to think of a store that you can kind of compare it to.
It seems very earth tony in here.
Yes, it is very neutral.
Yeah,
we get that a lot.
But like the Limited, like the Loft, like kind of stores like that, or
I feel like we kind of have a little bit of everything, and it's hard to compare to anything like that because there's times where we do collections. We like to do collection launches. So like we're launching a collection tomorrow actually, and we'll get some collections that people are like, oh, this seems so like free people, or oh, this seems so, you know, we do athleisure sometimes. That could be like Lululemon or like, you know, so I feel like we kind of try to get inspiration from our customers and what they need. And we'll do like polls on Instagram. And we have a lot of customers that need workwear, or, you know, they're moms that have their kids running around and they need like cute, trendy, easy things to wear. Like, you know, so we kind of feed off of our customers, and I feel like our collections vary, but that's what we want, is we want everyone to feel like they can come in here and shop. Like that's my biggest goal, is to just have something for everyone.
Sure. So you were in Pittsburgh, right? And you went there after college. Was that for a job, or did you just?
Yes.
Yeah. What were you doing?
I went to college at Slippery Rock University in Pennsylvania, and Pittsburgh's like 45 minutes from there. And I graduated with a degree in marketing. And I started as a physical therapy major, which is hilarious to me now. I tell anybody that's in college, I'm like, if you need to change your major, do it.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, don't feel like you got to stick to it. But yeah, so I graduated with a degree in marketing, and I had no idea what I wanted to do after college, like zero idea. And I always like had a love for fashion, but I feel like it's one of those kind of industries that people are like, it's hard to make it in fashion. Like, you know, if you're not like a designer and working in New York City and doing this and that. So I always loved it, but I was kind of like, what am I going to do with it?
Right.
So I actually ended up getting an internship at Nordstrom in Pittsburgh, and I was one of like 7 interns there, and it was an amazing job, and I immediately was like, this is what I should be doing. Like, and I didn't ever think retail, because I feel like a lot of people think of retail as like a part-time job or this or that or whatever, but I fell in love with it. Like, I loved working with customers, I loved dressing people, I loved like doing all of it. And I became a manager shortly after my internship, and I was there for about 2 years, and I loved it. But I feel like, as a lot of people say, I got homesick for Buffalo, and I wanted to come home, and I had no idea what I was going to do moving home, because I know, contrary to popular belief, but Buffalo is not really a fashion capital.
Oh, right.
who would have thought?
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
We're still 10 years behind everything.
Oh yeah, believe me, I know. But I was like, what am I gonna do in Buffalo? Like, it was so hard to imagine continuing my career here. So actually, my mom and my grandma were the ones that were like, why don't you open your own store? And actually, that's what Tea Boutique is named after. My grandma calls me Tea.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's where a lot of people are like, oh, Taylor. And I'm like, well, yeah, like it is Taylor, but I'm like, there's more meaning behind it.
Do you ever like? So you said that you found out what your customers like. Have you sat back and reflected and be like, wow, I'm dealing with the bougie Hamburg housewives?
No, I like. It's funny because I feel like I'm that type of. That's how I like to dress. No, I feel like we have like such a variety of people that come in, and like I said, we have some athleisure, we have some, like there's such a broad spectrum of like the things that we carry. Yeah. Like right behind you, we've got blazers, and then behind that's like a cow print fleece sweatshirt. Like we have so much different stuff in here, but that was one of the main reasons I wanted to expand our store, is I wanted to be able to have more inventory and have more things in here to cater to all the different customers.
Jeez. How does shipping work when you like shipping and receiving?
It's a lot. Yeah. So when we go to market, like I said, we go to Atlanta, and usually it's 2 seasons ahead. So I'm actually about to go at the end of this month, and it'll be for summer. And we place, 10 to 20 orders with all of our different vendors and stuff. And they give you ship dates. So they tell you like, oh, this will be available in April, May, June. Like they'll tell you when to expect things. But that is a big part. Again, like I said, there's no handbook, is figuring out like when things are going to come in, if we're doing a collection launch, if every piece is going to be here at the same time, and we have to photograph it and get it out. And there's a lot of moving parts to it.
How quickly does fashion trends change?
It's unbelievable.
Because like
It's
if you're
crazy.
planning 2 seasons out, that's
Yep.
got to be tough too, right?
Luckily, a lot of the markets are very, very good about helping with the fashion trends. So like, for example, like I said, it looks really cool. You guys will have to tune in when we go to market because I always post about it. But they have like fashion shows and stuff.
Oh,
so they
cool.
show you what like the upcoming trends are going to be and what to expect and what colors to see and what. So like I have to stay very in tune with that stuff. I got to know what's coming and we're going to see in the next season. So.
Yeah.
Who helps you? Like, how large is your team? Because if there's that many moving parts, then it's just instant burnout.
Yes. That happened very quickly. So I ran the store by myself for 2.5 years before I hired anybody. So I was doing all of those moving parts that I just mentioned. And I knew pretty early that I was going to have to hire, but I always say it's very hard because no one's going to love and care about Tea Boutique as much as I do. So finding someone that wants to be here and wants to help and wants to do all of that and help the store grow and everything can be challenging. I have been the luckiest ever, I swear, with hiring. I now have 5 employees. 4 of them are part-time sales associates. None of them have left me yet, which is crazy
Nice.
to say. I like to think that's a little pat on the back to myself that they've stayed. But my first employee, she's been here for over 2 years now. I have another one coming up on 2 years. But I recently, this past year, just hired an assistant. Her name is Carrie, and she's unbelievable. She's awesome, but she's like my right hand. Like
Nice.
She's here with me pretty much every hour I'm here, and she's actually coming to market with me at the end of the month for the first time, which will be cool. I usually have my mom come with me, and my mom's an amazing help. I love having her with me, but she's not here with me day to day to see the customers and see what's going on and see what's selling and not selling and stuff. So having Carrie with me, I feel like it's going to be a huge help.
Yeah.
But yeah, having her has definitely taken a load off of me because it's a lot. It's a lot of
Right.
moving parts. And like you said, the shipping, receiving, the photographs, the inventory, everything. It's crazy.
When you first started, was like this style of fashion always like what you wanted to do? Because you see places come up all the time with like, here's my Cricut machine, and now here's my Bills shirt.
Yeah.
And like, did that ever cross your mind at all? Or were you always just, I want to go all in, have my own merchandise, not resell anything?
Yeah, I struggle with that because that is like a super popular trend, like you said. Like a lot have popped up, and they're amazing, and they have their own creative mark on things, which is really cool. And I have gone back and forth. People have said to me a million times, why don't you make your own sweatshirts, make your own this? And I just feel like the way that I began, that didn't like coincide
Sure.
well. So I tried not to like fall into the trend and try to just like stay true to like the way that we began, and just kept pushing through with it. And like I said, we've hit 5 years, so
Yeah.
I feel like we've hit our stride.
Well, I mean, to that point, you talk about how it's a very oversaturated market, but for your specific boutique, it's really not, because there's not a lot of places like you. I mean, we just got out of cargo shorts last year, so we're getting into this whole fashion sense coming up,
Yeah.
and like the McKinley Mall closes, people don't really want to support stuff
Right.
like that, like
Yeah.
big market stores. So I think that this is, I mean, it's awesome that you're here to be like, this is women's fashion.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Yeah. And I think too, since I began 5 years ago, I say all the time, I feel like I got my foot in the door in Hamburg, especially at the right time. Because in the past few years, you've seen it turn so much towards supporting small businesses, and people would rather shop small. And obviously we appreciate all of that. but it's been such a big like trend. It's been huge. So that's definitely been super helpful.
Is there ever thoughts about expanding into those other towns that you're talking about, or not necessarily right now?
So not right now. Like I said, this is like a little past a year that we've moved to this larger location. My first location was 200 square feet, if you can imagine that. And this is 2,000 square feet. So we grew 10 times. So we were at that first location for 3 years, and it felt like a closet. I ended up I was in a building that had multiple suites in it, and I was in the front, and I ended up renting another one in the back just for storage. And we were busting at the seams, but that's what my mindset was, is I was like, I can't grow and have the sales I want if I don't have the inventory for it. So since we've been here a year, I do feel like the store is catching its stride, but my next goal is to up our website and start to catch a stride on the website a little bit more. And once those two are running parallel, I'm not opposed to seeing where it takes me. But yeah, like we have customers that travel here from the north towns regularly that love shopping with us. And they're like, you need to open one up there. And I'm like, let me get my feet under the ground here. I'm like, let me figure it out. But yeah, it's not out of the question, but
that's so much fun.
Yeah.
What is behind the house? What does that look like?
It's a big old stock room with racks and racks of clothes. And my little desk in the corner that's not nearly big enough for all of my papers and everything. But yeah, we needed that more than anything. And that was one of my goals for opening this store, was to have like a full stock in the back room that we could just pull from, especially for like Black Friday or any events we have. We do a big anniversary party every year, things like that. And I'm not even kidding you, like our amazing loyal customers, they will be here right when our doors open, and all of a sudden we look over and our rack's empty, and it's like like, go grab more stuff. So we literally will just bring things out as people are shopping. And it also like creates this like sense of excitement for customers, because they'll be like, what do you have in your hand there? What sizes do you have? As we're like walking out of the back room. So yeah, so that was definitely a goal of mine, because I'm like, you can't sell what you don't have. So we need to have more. Correct.
So do you have multiples of the same like SKU?
So that actually is something that this year, 2023, that we have decided to like embark on, is we typically carry 6 of each item. So usually 2 smalls, 2 mediums, 2 larges, extra large if it has, or extra small, 6 to 8 typically. And just because of our loyal customers and like posting on Instagram stories, things like that, 6 isn't enough anymore. Like we have too many customers that love the same things, which is amazing. But we want to keep that unique quality of a boutique, that like you aren't going to run into 10 people wearing the same thing as you. But we have decided to grow our inventory in more quantity per item. So that's something we are going to be doing this year. That's what we plan to do moving forward with orders and stuff. But like I said, you got to keep that uniqueness. So it won't be like overly, like you're not going to walk in and have one rack of like 15 to 25 of the same item. But yeah,
that's so awesome.
Did you design this place kind of similar to what your last place looked like, or what was that process like moving into this spot?
So this used to be a pizza place.
Nice. Hopefully there was some left over.
It was disgusting in here. The ovens were still in here. The ceiling was like brown with grease. And I walked in and I was like, I can see it. I was like, I got the vision. Like, I know what I want to do. And everybody, like my parents, my boyfriend, everybody that came in were like, are you sure you want it? And I was like, we got this. Like, I can see it. So the place was completely gutted, and like taken down to the floor was nothing.
Who did that?
Our landlord.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah, it was crazy. They had a dumpster out in the parking lot for like 6 weeks. They gutted the whole thing. Like the stoves were being taken out. Like it was crazy. And then I was like, that needs to be a built like storage room in the back there. So they built that out. And I like planned out where the counter would go, where the fitting rooms would go, like all of that sort of stuff. The only thing is we were delayed 6 weeks, which was 6 weeks that I just wasn't open, which was crazy. We did pop-ups in the parking lot actually, which was fun. And customers got to come and like peek in the window and see what was going on and everything. But I say all the time that it's still not exactly how I want it a year later. So there'll still be things, I'm sure. But it's funny because I look back at pictures of my first store from the first day we opened there there to the day we closed and how much it changed. So I'm like, I know that eventually things will be how I want them, but I'm sure I'll always want to like change things a little bit.
Sure.
So
What's one of those things that's like a small minor change?
lighting. I've mentioned to you guys before we started that we have crazy like LED bright lights, but like they aren't great in the fitting rooms, for example. So I want like drop lighting over the fitting room, just like some little accent lighting like over our counter there, just like little things like that. But I just feel like make it feel more like warm and homey and everything, because it's a big space.
Yeah, it is.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
I just wish there was something like this for guys. Like, this is so cool.
We don't have anything, man. We go to Kohl's.
I know, right? Kohl's.
Don't get me started on that, because that was my biggest request, which I always was.
Oh, really?
Biggest request.
Is
Always.
dudes?
Always. And over this past summer, we did a men's launch, and it did not take off.
Oh, really?
Yes. And
Oh,
I
I'm
was
sorry. That
like,
sucks.
no, it was the actual launch itself was awesome. Like, it was really, really cool. The launch day itself was like one of our biggest sales days. But the thing is, how often do you guys go shop?
Well, that's true. Like once every 4 years.
Right.
Until we get holes
You
in
get,
our
a, you,
jeans.
get a
yelled
hole,
at.
you get a hole in your armpit of your favorite t-shirt, and then your wife tells you to throw it out,
Yep.
and then that's when you go buy a new t-shirt. So that's the thing, is like, it was mostly the women that were coming to buy the men's stuff for their brother, son, husband,
Sure.
like, you know. But that's the thing. Women, if we put something out each week, we get the same customers back
Yeah.
in. Guys aren't like that.
Maybe are other places like that for guys?
What do you mean?
Like Buffalo's always behind. So are we just like behind the times with men's fashion?
I think that there are like men's boutiques like out there and stuff, and I do think a lot of places like Nordstrom, for example, where I used to work, they had a huge men's section that was always like super popular. But yeah, no, I get that complaint all the time that there's nowhere for guys to shop, and I wouldn't be opposed to being the one to have it. It's just figuring out.
The demand's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Other than flannels, blue jeans, and like a black t-shirt.
Right.
Well, yeah, because I mean,
I think a lot of it would be like athletic leisure,
Yep.
Silicon Valley
Yep.
type vibe.
well, even that, but I would come to a place like this over Stitch Fix, where
Yes.
they just send me
Duh.
a customized thing. Like if
Yeah.
I came here and you were like, "Listen, this doesn't look good together.
Yeah.
You look like a
Yeah.
schlemiel.
Yeah.
Like let's get you into something that
Yeah.
looks nice."
Yeah.
I would love that.
Me too.
Yeah.
I've never had that experience in my life, Derek. But then I come in and I see these really
You
cool
look good
catch.
right now. You're good. You look good right now.
It's all close to Josh. But then there's like real cool stuff on the wall. We don't have that for dudes.
I know. I know. I wouldn't be opposed to opening it.
What
we
is?
also did the launch B collection. Which
Yeah,
is my fiance, Blair.
Uh-huh.
It was a B collection, and
Yeah.
he modeled everything.
he did.
Oh, nice.
I remember that.
Yeah.
How did that go?
Oh, he loved it.
I know he did, but how did
yeah.
it go? Like, did you show him the numbers on the end and you're like, Blair,
Yeah.
like we gotta.
I was like, you need to come in, and I do try-ons every week,
Yeah.
like in the mirror for our Instagram. And that's when we sell the most, is when people see it on whatever. I'm like, you got to come in and do a try-on. When are you coming in? And he was like, oh yeah, I'll be in. I'm like, he hasn't yet.
We should do it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we
help,
will
help model a Mal line.
for sure.
That would be hilarious.
We'll bring the cameras and do a whole fashion show
Oh my
here.
gosh,
Bring
yes.
Brittany.
Yes. Yes. All right, it's happening.
Now we got
Britt,
it,
you
yeah.
heard it.
Where did the quote come from?
That's just like, it's something I always like saw and loved and like spoke to me, and I had it on our website when we first opened, and customers loved it. Like they immediately took to it. Like people brought it up to me more than I brought it up, and I just feel like it's such a perfect like slogan, motto, whatever. So we had that. Well, I had that made when we opened the store. This was like my pride and joy.
Oh, you had it made? That's
Yes.
cool.
I focused on that more than like other things I probably should have.
It says life isn't perfect, but your outfit can be.
That's right.
I love that.
Where did the piece come above it?
I made that.
You
By
made it?
hand?
Yes.
How long did that take you?
Not long.
What?
I get a lot of compliments on that.
What do you mean not long? What's not long?
So on the wall
14 years.
is nailed chickenware. See it underneath?
yeah.
So I nailed chickenware on the wall, and then I bought all those pieces and I made it.
You're just a creative person in general.
It's funny you say that, because I never thought I was creative, because I can't like paint or sculpt or like, you know, do anything that a typical like artsy creative person can do. But the older I've gotten, I've embraced the fact that I definitely am creative. It's just in like a different way. Like I love merchandise in the store. I love putting outfits together. I love doing graphics for the store's Instagram, like all that sort of stuff. And that's something, you know, anyone younger that I could give advice to is that if you do have like a passion about something like that to like feed into it and see where you could use it in life, use it in your passion. My old boss at Nordstrom, I used to do like pictures for the store and lay out all this different stuff. And he was like, make sure whatever you do in the future, you're using this. And he was like, cause you're good at it. Like you can do it. And I was like, oh, okay. Like to me, it was nothing. But now I'm like, I've realized that I am passionate about certain creative things. And I guess I never labeled myself that way, like growing up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they forced us to make pottery.
Yeah.
Like
that I wasn't good at.
Yeah, put it in the kiln. Like, why did mine break?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, we were taught creative only means art.
Yes, exactly.
well, yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Yes.
It's like draw an intersection.
Yeah.
It's like my pencil broke.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's going
You
on.
like do a self-portrait and it
Yeah.
just looks
Like,
nothing like
no,
you.
I can't. Yeah. Paint this. It's like, it's all over my hands.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you go to these vendor markets,
Mm-hmm.
you're actually looking for outfits. I don't know why that just clicked for me, but
yeah.
like you're not just searching for like a shirt. Like you're just building a whole
Did Mike
outfit
just laugh
together.
at you?
Yeah.
Like that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I just look behind and I just see all these like things that go together.
Yes. Yep.
And they're all different vendors?
Yeah.
So they're different
labels.
designers?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when somebody comes to your store, they're basically buying into your
Vision.
look.
Yeah, essentially. And that's the thing is, like I said, at first when I started, I was like, who am I buying for? Like, who's my customer? And now I go to market and I'm like, oh my God, this reminds me of so-and-so. This reminds me of so-and-so. A lot of the times too, my employees, like I'll come back from market and I'll be like, wait until you see this piece. Like I had you in mind. They usually hate it because they're like, darn it, I need this now. But yeah, no, we try to have like dress head to toe if we can. Everything for if you're going to work, you're going to dinner with your girlfriends, you're going to a birthday party, like whatever we can give you a full outfit for. And that's usually what our collections are about too. So our collection tomorrow, with it being the new year, it's like an athleisure launch. So we have like leggings and tank top sets with like nice little jackets and athleisure looks and stuff, because new year, new you, like you're trying to, feel good, be healthy and everything. So we're getting new outfits that can get you ready for that.
When you like see one of your outfits out in the wild,
It's
do you
the
get like all
coolest thing
excited?
ever. Yeah. I love it.
Do you yell across the street?
Usually people yell to me, which I love.
Okay.
I was actually at the Bills game yesterday, and someone was like, do you own T Boutique? I was like, yep. I was like, I do. In my parka, Bills hat, I'm all bundled up. But yeah, no, it's like the coolest thing ever to see it like out in the wild. Like I'll be at, restaurants or this or that, and I'm like, I think that's from T Boutique. Like I'll look at stuff, I'm like, yep, that's from my store. But yeah, usually customers say hi to me and stuff, which is awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Is it like what you exclusively wear now?
Actually, I had to be better about, I didn't ever wear any of the items
Oh,
because
really?
I wanted to sell everything.
Right.
I was like, I want customers to have this. I want customers to wear it. And it's funny because actually my girls at the store, they would be like, you need to wear more of your own stuff. You need to wear, like you're a walking advertisement for the store. When somebody says, oh my God, that's so cute, where'd you get it? You can say, I actually own T Boutique, like whatever. But I just had such a mental block about like, no, if I have it, then someone else can. Like I want other people to wear it. So I have gotten a little bit better about it. Still not the best, but I should wear more T Boutique.
I love this. It's a different vibe because it's not flashy. It's just like kind of professional, but also I don't
Trendy.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
And flowy.
Yes. And that's my thing is I feel like when you come in here, like Buffalo's a casual town or city. It is.
Yeah.
And like when we have women come in here, it's like they should be easy to wear pieces that you could wear for different occasions, but with a little twist. Like something you couldn't find at every department store. Like something might have a little bit of a different flair, a different color, a different, outfit that you wouldn't normally see everywhere else.
Yeah.
So that's what I try to aim for. Like sometimes I'll see, a jacket that has a little bit of a different pattern or a different cut to it. And I'm like, oh, like that's cute and easy to wear. Like anybody could wear it, but it's different. Like a little flair.
Where do you pull inspo from then? Other than like Instagram, but like, are you looking at different states to see what different trends are in different states?
Sometimes, but I feel like we kind of have our own style in Buffalo.
Oh, 1,000%.
Because,
We
like,
still wear Uggs.
Yeah. But I feel like you can't look at the South because the South is all
we're
glitz
just
and glam
colder.
and bright and like that's
Sundress.
that's not us. And then we're also not like super chic city like New York City, like leather pants and sequins and this and that. So like I said, just like more of a casual look. I mean, honestly, like I like to think that I dress nice, hopefully owning a boutique. But I mean, I typically wear jeans and a sweater to work, so it's like what I would wear too.
I love that. Is this place dog friendly?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I say all the time that Blair and I want a dog. Blair is my fiance. Blair and I want a dog, and I always say that it'll be a shop pup. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm 1,000% gonna
Has to be.
raise it here.
Has to be.
And every customer is gonna know our dog, and they're gonna come trotting out of the back room and just love everybody. Yeah, dog friendly.
That's cool to me too, because another kind of point of this place is it's not intimidating when you walk in. You're not getting blasted by some fragrance that somebody just sprayed on all the clothes, and like all the racks aren't crowded because there's nothing more annoying than like holding your Starbucks and have to look through everything to see if it's a medium.
Yeah.
So you don't shop. You're a male. We already covered that.
I shop. It's just there's nothing for me to shop right now. But it's not intimidating in here at all. There's not like a ton of options, which again helps somebody that's coming in make an actual decision, which is really cool.
Yeah.
You have the space to have so much more in here, but I feel like it seems like you do a lot of research.
Yeah.
And you're just like, this is the max I can have in here to not overwhelm people.
Yeah. And thank you for saying that, because my mother is always like, you need more. You should have more in here. You could have so much more. And people have said to me, like, I don't even know how high our ceilings are. People are like, you should put racks up on the top. I'm like, what? Like, that is ridiculous.
Who's getting them down?
But, right. But no, I'm the type of person, like when I walk in somewhere, if there's a million things to look at, whatever, I'm like, I'm not even buying anything. Like, I'm overwhelmed right now. Like, I just like everything to be like clean and neat and crisp and like easy to look at, very eye appealing. But there is a lot to look at in here. And I like that you said that, because we get customers that come back in that will be like, oh my God, is this new? Did you just get this in? And I'm like, no, it was here last time you were here, but we just rearranged it and moved it, and now you're noticing it, which makes it seem new, Yeah.
Well, that's actually an interesting point, because how often do you rearrange every like setup?
Oh.
I feel like I want to rearrange my bedroom every 4 months.
Yeah.
So it has to be going crazy here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, every time. And the girls love to rearrange it too. Every time I'm not here and I come back, I'm like, where is this? Like, where did you guys put things? But that's part of merchandising and like having a retail business, is knowing the strategy behind merchandising and what to put out. And if we have something on a rack that hasn't been looked at and hasn't been touched, and we are like, this is an awesome piece, people would love this, like we need to put this front and center when somebody walks in the door, and then we do that and they're gone. And it's crazy.
I have an off question, but I noticed it to Derek's point about you doing research. There's mannequins here.
Yeah.
But they're different mannequins. They're not like the random glossy plastic ones from like Sears.
Yeah.
So did you want a specific mannequin? Like how did you find these?
A lot of our stuff is like a lot of the merchandising, like tables and everything that we have are things I had to do extensive research for. But once I found different vendors and stuff that carried, like our white racks right here behind you guys, we have like 4 of those, and the mannequins and stuff, they're all from the same vendor that I like took to and I really liked. But then also on the flip side of that, some of the tables and the risers and things like that, I like thrifted. Like the table behind you guys, I painted. And it's a very old rickety table. But I feel like it kind of gives that homey feel of like not a department store, not a Sears. So, and there's like, I feel like there's a modern twist on a lot of it. Like the racks too behind you guys are gold. So it gives that little like feminine flair to it. But there's also like a lot of tables that are like more rustic-y looking and stuff. So it gives a good balance.
It is, because it's not like a standard Z rack. And it's sad that I know that, but
I was going to say, yep.
I like that it's not, because it's just a higher, even the racks themselves are taller, which allows things to drape and just naturally hang. So it's more appealing. It's an annoying amount of research how much you did here, but it's okay. Got it. Yeah. You really took to heart the whole, like, there's a reason why Wegmans has this layout when we're like 11.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even when they talk about the lighting and fitting rooms, when they talk about the mirrors, when they talk about like all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's all has like reason behind it.
I almost don't want to bring my wife here.
Yeah, right. Gina already comes, so it's fine. What's the vibe in here? Like is there music playing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We usually have like a candle lit, which we carry the candles. We got like music going. I tell the girls that they can play whatever music like they're in the mood for, as long as it's clean.
Sure.
But yeah, so usually they got like Taylor Swift bumping in here. They've got Backstreet Boys bumping. Some days I come in and I'm like, oh my God, I love this song. I haven't heard this in so long. But it just puts you in a good mood. But yeah, no, I want like our customers to come in and just like feel happy and like feel like you're shopping with your best friend. And that's the vibe we try to give them. And a lot of feedback I've got is that they do feel that way. So it's a good thing.
So Summerline's coming. That's what you're going down for next.
Yes.
What can people expect? Do you have any idea of what's coming down?
With like trends?
Yeah.
Or what we're going to be bringing back?
Or even springtime. Like
yeah,
what's coming up? Yeah.
Spring will be our next. We actually, first and foremost, will be doing Galentine's Day. That's one of our biggest events of the year.
I'll be here for that.
Yes. I love Galentine's Day. So I started that at my first year we opened. That was like one of the number one things I wanted to do. And it has turned into quite the event. Last year we did 3 days. This year we're doing 2 days. But we bring in pop-up vendors. We have like a coffee cart coming in. We're going to have, last year we had like braiders, hair braiders were here doing braids. And we bring in all new inventory. And that's kind of like our start of spring, because we bring in like pinks and purples and reds, and like it's really bright and cheery. We usually have balloons everywhere. Like, it's crazy. It looks like Valentine's Day threw up in here. But it's a fun way to start. And also it's a good way to get people excited about spring and like lift, your spirits in February when it's typically still dreary and gross in Buffalo. So we have Valentine's Day, and then we'll roll into spring, and then shortly after that, summer. So in retail, you're always like thinking ahead. So once the holidays hit, I'm like, I've been over Christmas for 2 months. We're already working on spring.
Yeah. So any new trends coming for spring or summer?
Blazers are huge. I don't know if you guys have seen that. If you guys have noticed.
Interesting.
A lot of the women have been wearing the blazers. And actually Uggs are very in style. You said Buffalo's the only one. Uggs are
annoying.
staying through the spring. But that like athleisure look, which is the collection we're doing next, is probably like the heaviest trend right now, which is wild.
What are your thoughts on this whole like retro thing that we're going back to, like
the 90s,
the old,
not even retro.
style. Yeah.
90s is what is coming back, which is crazy.
Do you like it? Do you not like it?
Certain things to it, yes. But what cracks me up is when we get younger customers that like think they reinvented the wheel, and I'm like, no, I wore that when I was in elementary school. Like we have like the big claw clips and stuff now, like the hair clips. And I'm like, I had these when I was little. And like, it's so funny when we get, women's in their like 40s, 50s, they're like, I just got rid of all of my clips. And we're like, yeah, you should have kept them because they're back.
And it's the same thing.
Yeah, same exact thing.
Is it a normal cycle? Does it recycle like every 20 years or something?
I feel like the 90s came back quicker. But I also feel like the 80s and stuff was a like crazier style. Like that one would have been hard to bring back. The 90s was a more like low key.
Okay.
But like the biker shorts, that was huge in the 90s that we're seeing everywhere. The athleisure, the big chunky sneakers, like all that sort of stuff. It's crazy. But the 90s are back.
It's going to bring so much nostalgia back.
Oh, yeah.
I know. That's awesome.
So what are your hours? When are you open?
So we are open Tuesday through Saturday. Right now we're open 10 to 6 every day. Our hours obviously change, like, holiday in the summer and stuff like that. But yeah, we're closed Sunday and Monday. Monday is like our shoot days. We do all of our stock photos and stuff on Mondays.
Nice.
So it's fun to come in when the store is not open and just be able to get things done around here. But yeah, we're open till 6. You can find us online. We're on Instagram and Facebook, and we do have a website. Like I mentioned, that's how we started.
What's the website?
tboutiquebuffalo.com.
Nice.
Okay.
And one of my favorite features that I always like to mention is we do have a pick up in store feature on our website, which a lot of customers don't realize. I usually have to tell people or post about it. But it's cool for our local customers that maybe can't get in right away. If they see something on Instagram that they want and they're, in the middle of a work day or whatever, they can go right on our website and cash out right there, but do pick up in store, and they can come pick it up at their earliest convenience.
Nice.
How long can you hold it for?
Typically, we'll do, like, if it comes to the end of the week, we'll message them and remind them, because sometimes people do forget.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, we've had that happen. But most of the time, if it's going to be longer than a week, like sometimes people are out of town or whatever, they'll usually message us and let us know. But at the end of the week, we'll usually send a reminder email and stuff. But
Very nice.
Cool.
yeah.
Anything else we didn't talk about that you want to hit on?
I don't think so. Just keep supporting small businesses. Keep shopping small. We thrive off of it. Buffalo is a great community. I'm very lucky to be a part of Hamburg and Buffalo. And yeah, anytime you can get out there and support any businesses. And also, I feel like you guys probably know this also better than anybody. Just even reposting people's posts or liking or commenting or whatever. Like Instagram and Facebook and everything are our biggest like competition because it's so annoying sometimes when you post and you get 100 likes one time, you post the next time you get like 2.
The algorithm.
It's
terrible.
ridiculous. So that's the thing is I feel like when you say support, people think you need to go buy something. And that's not always what it means. Like just telling a friend about it or sharing a post on your Instagram story or sharing an event that a store is having coming up. Like those little things mean so much. And I know in the day-to-day traffic on social media, you probably think that small businesses don't notice if you just like one picture, but we do. Like, and we appreciate every little thing that people do. And even like you guys reaching out to me is huge because any sort of exposure that I can get, I obviously appreciate so much, and supporting you guys back, of course.
For sure.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Hopefully you get men's clothes in soon.
Yeah.
So thank everybody. Yep. Thank you so much. Go visit her website, her Instagram, come on to the store and get yourself some curated women's clothing or pick up some clothing for your wife, girlfriend, or fiance.
Oh, that's my favorite thing. Side note, any guys that want to come in and shop, I love helping guys shop.
Love that.
It's so, like, when they come in for their wife,
Because we're
girlfriend.
clueless. We don't know.
That's literally, but the most, I would say the most response we get from women is like, thank you so much. My husband came in and I love the sweater that he chose.
Oh, cool.
That's awesome.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.